Bam, we're live. All right, let's get started. All right, so today we're on day 04 of just Remodeler AI coming at you live. Every day you can learn just a little bit more for your business. So let's get started. We got a holiday week coming up. Hopefully, you guys are busy, and this is a good time of year for you to get a little relaxation. Maybe go on a little bit of a vacation. I know for me, holidays would stress me out. I never felt like we had enough done. I always thought we needed to get more done. So hopefully that's not your case. All right. So welcome. We're going to get into a couple of different things. We're going to talk about markup, margin, and profit. Let's see here. So for some reason, I don't know what's up with YouTube. You're not going to be able to comment if you're on YouTube. Again, I'm getting the error message that says something went wrong. It's been pretty consistent the last like 10 days. TikTok, you can definitely comment in the chats there. They're not having that issue. All right. So here we go. For most guys, it's simple math is what messes up everything. All right. There is a difference. So if you ever feel like, man, I'm working harder than ever, but I'm still just not getting ahead, right? Like if you say to yourself, man, every job I should be winning, I'm charging a lot, but somehow the bank account doesn't show it. It's probably not bad luck. It's just probably bad math. You're making some assumptions and they're not panning out. Welcome, Drew. Welcome, Bruce. All right. Most remodelers are guessing their way through pricing, right? You're like, well, what will the market bear? What did the last guy charge? The homeowner wants me to match this guy, right? It's all guesses, and guesses creates chaos. If you're juggling jobs, trying to manage clients, and you're trying to chase some payments, and you're working at night because you're doing your estimates when you get home, you're exhausted during the day, and you're still wondering, like, where in the hell is my profit? Well, it comes down to math. So it's a very distinct market when I talk to remodelers. You either have a guy who's on his way and would like to hit 1 million, or you have a team that's already surpassed a million and they're now trying to get into multi-millions. All right. It's two distinct phases. Most guys struggle to ever get over 1 million. So if you're in the lower camp, don't worry. You have a lot of company over there. There's no reason for you to stay there if you want to get above it. But that's just where most guys fall because the average person can't do more than 1 million. You don't have the capacity. The only way you're going to get above it is to let go, delegate, find some other people, subs, partner, somebody. It's going to be very difficult for the average guy, one guy, to ever get to 1 million. Most burn out right around like 600,000. And then if they do partner and they have a teammate, they struggle to get past 750. All right. And you can ask around. You probably know this to be true. And then a lot of guys, once they get past 1 million, they get excited. They can usually get up to about 3, and then they hit another wall. And the reason this happens is because we're our own limiting factor, right? The skills that allowed you to get started are not the same skills that are going to allow you to scale. So think about the personalities of the average contractor: a little hard-headed, a little bit of an ego. It's like, I'm going to do it better than everybody else. So they go and they start their own business. They have to, right? It's the only way they can get in and get started. But that I'll do it my own, I'm going to do this all by myself, that doesn't really get you very far in life with a remodeling business because it takes a team. You have to divide, you have to conquer. And that's why most guys struggle, all right? Because you're going to hit your own natural capacity, your skill set at some point, and that's it. That's as far as you can go on your own. So again, if you're the solo guy, you probably struggled between 4 and 600,000. And then once you bring on a couple people into the business, you're probably going to struggle again to get from 1 to 3 million. All right. And part of that is a lot of guys are investing way too much money in things that don't count. You're buying the latest Milwaukee pack out. You just invested in a new King Ranch truck, and you're not investing in your mind, in your skill set, right? In your business acumen. You have to learn how to swing the business. So if you're still doing estimates at night and yet you're undercharging jobs, that should be a clue to say there's another way to do this. Hey there, Bill. Welcome. Happy, yeah, brother. Happy Tuesday to you. A lot of guys are easily, and Bill, you probably can relate to this. A lot of guys are undercharging 20 to 40% across the board. Now, Bill, you're a little anomaly. You've learned this lesson well. You definitely have raised the bar when it comes to markup, margin, and profit. But most businesses, they just struggle. And it's because of fear. The average person walks around with a lot of fear, right? We're afraid if I raise my price, they're going to say no because you haven't challenged enough people. When the homeowner talks about the price, remember, it's not often really even about the price. And that is challenging for a lot of guys to hear. So, most of the guys that do eventually get past $1 million, it's because they also learn how to properly market, advertise, and build a referral basis. Welcome, guys. Thank you for popping in. Yeah. And again, for those of you on the YouTube, yeah, you unfortunately the comment section is not working. I don't know what is going on with YouTube. This is like several days in a row that it says something went wrong. So please bear with me. Be patient. Jump over to TikTok if you want to comment. The understand this about the remodeling world across the board. If you're an owner operator, you can probably sell 1 to 3 million yourself. But that's about it as an owner operator because you're wearing other hats. A top salesperson for your company can easily do 3 million. So that's a important factor to start thinking about if you're trying to scale and grow. At a certain point, if you may not be the only guy bringing in business if you want to get to those higher numbers, right? And you have to start looking at in those types of chunks and increments. And often you'll find that when you bring in a salesperson, they'll help raise your prices because they want a better commission. And you'll be shocked. You'll go, damn, my salesperson's selling the jobs more than I would have. It's because they're not afraid like you were. So it's an important lesson to learn. And I would recommend a lot of you bring on even a part-time salesperson so that you can see that your projects in your area, the type of work that you do, the type of customers that you attract, you can sell them for more. You've just been afraid and you've been conditioned often to believe that you can't. It's natural. We all go through it, right? And if you've lost some jobs in the back of your mind, that starts to become this factor that goes, don't lose another one, Mike. You don't want to charge too much. So, but it's hogwash. It's fear. You have to recognize it and go, I don't need to be worried about that. Yes. Thank you. All right. So if you don't understand the difference between markup and margin, then you're making the business much more complicated because you're probably using the wrong math to get what you think is your profit. So let's get this straight. Markup, that is what you multiply your costs by. Okay. Margin, that is what you keep after you sell the job. Most guys would say, well, if I multiply my cost by 1.25, that they're going to get a 25% profit. Nope. That gives you a 20% margin. Follow me. You say, well, what if I wanted a 40% margin? Then you need to multiply your cost by like 1.67, right? You want a 43% margin? You need to multiply by 1.75. So a lot of guys are screwing this up from day one. It's complicated. You have to write it out on paper. At least I do. I can only, some of you guys might have a great math mind and you can see it. I have to put this out on a whiteboard or on paper, and then I can see what my numbers really are. It's definitely easier. Thank you guys. Yeah, it's definitely easier if you've been in business for 1 year to know your numbers, because then you can have your accountant run some reports for you if you're not doing it yourself. And then you can break out your costs by the hour, by the day, by the week, by the month, however you want. And then you start understanding how much you have to mark up things. If it's your first year in business, it is a bit challenging. You're just going to have to go with some industry averages. And what I would say is always go higher, estimate higher, charge more. You'll never lose in life if you're getting paid more for the job, in my opinion. All right. So it never fails. And some of you that are here already know this. The smartest guys, they're better at pricing jobs straight across the board. Like that's like the number one secret. Hello. You just have to get better at pricing, estimating, and protecting your margin. You can use AI to do this. I have done this on several projects. I go in and I look at what I thought I wanted to charge, and I will ask AI to reevaluate it. And often I'm shooting myself in the foot by discounting some things that I probably shouldn't have. Because I'll say to myself, well, they're a good customer. I've known them for 15 years. This is the third job that we've done for them. And you'll want to start hurting your own pocketbook. Whereas AI will remove the emotion and it just works through logic. So I would suggest a lot of you guys run all of your pricing back through an AI model or somebody in your company who's not emotionally tied to it like you are. And they'll probably look at you and go, what are you doing? Why did you discount that? Why were you saying, yeah, but we could probably get it done less? No, we probably can't. It's probably going to take more than you're thinking. So it's hard. We all have this problem. We are connected. We have emotions. We have logic. And in estimating, you got to get rid of the emotions and just focus on the logic. All right. So I would just say to yourself, this is a good time of year to say, what if? What if I tried raising my prices? What if I learned a couple little sales tactics? What if I invested in my own skill set so that I could possibly earn more money? Why am I afraid? What am I afraid of? Why am I so afraid? I see other contractors selling for more. What makes me think that I can't do it? These are all questions that you should be asking yourself. Get out of your head, write it down on paper, see what you're afraid of. And then if you've ever done this exercise where you draw a line down the paper and you write what you think on the one half, and on the other half, you write it the way you want it to be. And for most of us, if we get it out of our head, we see that we were making a lot of bad decisions. So we all do this. It's a very common thing. As you get older, you start learning to separate your thoughts from reality because you think we're thinking in a way that we think is protecting us, right? And often we're just hurting ourselves. All right, that's what I wanted to get out tonight. I appreciate you guys bearing with me as I went through the content. What comments do we have? There's a couple people. Bill, I am sure you have some insight on this. Who else do we have tonight? I'm not seeing everybody. Charlie, if you're new, let me know where you're from. Who else? Ashley, if you're new, let me know where you're from. 28 JJW. I don't recognize your handle. Let me know where you're from, what part of the country, if you do remodeling or not. Cyprus, very cool. Hey, Charlie, thanks for commenting. That's awesome. Minneapolis. All right. Very cool. Are you guys remodelers? So like my background, I got started. The first thing I ever bought was an old 1900s house. And I bought it because I wanted a single family house. I didn't grow up in a single family house and I always wanted my own driveway. And the only way I could afford that. Okay. So we got somebody from Georgia. Awesome. The only way I could afford a single family house was to buy something that needed a total repair and it had an apartment in it so I could rent it out and help cover my mortgage. And then when I bought it, I had to learn how to fix it up. And that's basically what started my remodeling career. So I'd be curious. Tell me, what is your niche? Are you guys, do we have, I know Bill, you do design build. Does anybody else? Are you guys general remodelers? Are you subs? What do we do? The evolution for my company, I started out renovating work. I understood structure, making structural repairs. I understood kitchens, baths, siding, windows, right? So all full service remodeling. Then we started specializing kitchens, baths, basements, additions. Then we moved into design build. Then we added a handyman division. Then when the economy crashed, I got into property preservation, working for all the banks that were buying up everybody's house that was going homeless. It was horrible. Um, First year. Well, congratulations. 28, JJ, do you have a few years experience in the business or is this all new? Congratulations. I wish Jay Allen was in here. It's his first year. We got another gentleman that pops in a lot, Goat. It's his first year also. He's like 6 months in. Oh, so you're old, 20 years. Okay. So just first time doing your own thing. No worries. Are you having a good year so far? I would think if you've got 20 years, you probably know enough to know at least some of the major things not to do. Mm-mm. Going well. Fantastic. Congrats. And what's your tell me what your like specialty is. What's do you have one thing? There you go. Bill, we got you. Hey, Eric, welcome. Thank you for sharing the live. All right, so you do framing and finish trim. Very good. And what do you find in the marketplace like? Are you able to get jobs pretty easy? Are you having for through referral, word of mouth? Are you having because you have a big network? Are you having to advertise? Eric, thank you for all the for sharing the live. I appreciate that. And Ashley, how about you? Are you in the remodeling space? Charlie, anything? So getting new leads, it's a nightmare right now. Are you feeling? So the reason I'm asking is a lot of guys I'm talking with right now are having like one of their best years ever. For some guys, this is a very strong economy. Oh, forklift repair. Interesting. All right. Well, welcome. Uh, you like what's it? Heisler, Caterpillar. What's your favorite forklift brand? It's going good. Interesting. Mm. Charlie, so you're probably I guess all your work is commercial, all brands. You like the Toyotas. Yeah, okay. They seem to be the most reliable. And so how are you finding your clients? Are you setting up maintenance and service contracts? Thank you, Eric. I appreciate you chiming in. Thank you very much. Okay, you're retired, just do it on the side. Yeah, when I was younger, I worked at I've worked in like Frank's Nursery and Crafts. I don't even know if they're still around anymore, but we would have a guy who would have to come in and do routine maintenance and would have to certify that the forklift was operational all the time. And then, all of us had to get certified if we wanted to operate the forklift. So, I mean, a lot of businesses definitely survive on it. Hmm. All right. Let's see. Well, does anybody have any questions about markup, margin, profit? Um, I mean, Bill, you've shared some of your stuff. I know you do really well in this industry, so you've always come into it from a place where you mark up things well. which has obviously made it much simpler for you to grow your business because, I mean, you already have the proper mindset. You're not afraid of the price. The thing that I find, and some of you guys, you might find this to be true for you. When I first got started, I sold from my pocketbook, right? So I didn't have a lot of money. And when I would go to bid at jobs, I would be like, I'd never pay this for that. Like, these people are crazy. And so I would try. I always thought that homeowners were looking to get a good deal because I was looking to get a good deal when I first got into the business. Right. And that mindset really hampered my growth for several years. I had to get to a place where I was like, Mike, you're not selling with your pocketbook. The homeowner is hiring you because they can't do it. They don't want to do it. Right? Let them spend what they want to spend. Charge what you need to charge to make a proper profit, to make the job worth it. And when I started, yeah, shifting your mindset is the hardest. Bill, thank you for that. Yeah, it really is. Um, the best way I can describe it to you guys is when you bid a job, forget about what you would pay. Don't sit there and say to yourself, that's ridiculous. I'd never pay somebody $5,000 for this, because you're not your customer, right? You're providing a service. And if you're going to work for people, in my opinion, you should try to work for some people that are a little more wealthy. And the reason being, wealthy people use their money to solve problems, and they don't have a lot of time, and they want you to eliminate their headaches. So they will gladly pay you to get the issue resolved so they can move on with their life. Yeah, market and target the clients you want. Not exactly, right? Like, yeah, I would have. So when I was 26 when I started, it would have been pointless. Like, I can remember I did a deck for a buddy of mine. He had no money. Like, this was a horrible person to build a deck for. But yet, when I found somebody who was like in their 50s, husband and wife, their kids just went off to college, they've been waiting 20 years to do that remodel. They want the addition and the kitchen and the master bedroom suite. Like, that is my client. That's who I want to work for. The person who isn't going to do it themselves, has no inclination to even want to do it for themselves. Yes, relieve stress, solve the problem, and not spend the time babysitting. 100%. They don't even have the time to micromanage, right, Bill? They want you. The reason that they're paying a premium often, because they just want the problem solved. The sooner, the better. And often they have other things going on in life. So busy, rich, wealthy people tend to be busy, in my opinion. Um, yes, think big, get big results. 28 JJ. Yes, 100%, right? And you guys have probably experienced this. And I learned this one the hard way too. I ran my first couple ads that I ran, I put like $500 discount, right? Like, I did the same stupid stuff the other people were doing. And those ads attract people that want discounts and they want money off. It attracts people that are struggling. Yes, exactly, Bill. If your current clients are price shoppers, you have a marketing problem. And what a lot of us I find in contracting don't understand is, you're often attracting the worst client because you think, I'll give a discount. That'll get more people. That's going to drive business. Yes, a discount can drive business, but often it's driving the wrong business. You you should focus your ads more about solving the problems of the type of client that you're trying to attract. And people that have money, they value time. They want a better experience, right? That's why they go to nicer restaurants. They don't want all the chaos. They want someone to wait on them. They want it to be a pleasant evening out, right? They want to walk away and go, that was really nice. We had a great time here. There was a valet service. My drink never got below, 3/4. It was always full. All the things that a nice restaurant does. It pays attention to the details and provides the client with a good experience. In my opinion, your remodeling business should be the same way, right? You're not going to be able to help solve the person with a fast food budget. when it comes to remodeling. Yeah. So what else can we talk about? Let's see. Trying to think. Uh, is anybody trying to get past Meathead? Welcome. Haven't seen you for a couple days. Shoot. Yeah, you know what's Meathead? I'm with you. I've had that problem as well. I'm gonna. This is my perspective. Being the nice person backfires. It ends up being taken for granted. In my This is my opinion. I I I am respectful. I care for people, but I already know that when I try to be nice and it's going to backfire, right? Cuz it's not respected well on the other end all the time. Now there's a few exceptions, right? Like if there's a super elderly person that just physically unable to take care of something, that's different. But when I'm with a physically minded person and physically capable person, uh, being the nice guy doesn't help. There's being respectful and courteous for sure. Yeah, so you get that, meathead. Okay, you understand. Yeah, so like again, we have to remind ourselves like stop being nice. It's just I'm just going to be taken advantage of. And in fact, when you stop being extra nice and you draw a line in the sand, often the homeowner ends up respecting you more and the job will work out better, or if you land it, it's going to be a better project across the board. We got to remember this is business. Yeah, exactly. And don't get me wrong, like I get it. A lot of people in the remodeling space have a big heart. And if you're the type of person that wants to give back, you're very thankful for everything that you've gotten in your life, that should be a separate facet or side of your business. If you want to do a charity build or do some sort of like thing where you give back to the community, then be intentional, be purposeful, be specific, and select a family in the neighborhood and say, we're going to do your remodel at cost or no cost. But when it comes to clients that you're advertising and going out to land, no, they pay a price to be your client is what I'm trying to say, right? That's not where your charity efforts go. Yes, Bill, and yes, JW. Yeah, you have to know your worth, right? And it gets complicated when it's in our heads because we want to be nice, we want to give a discount. But if you've ever done the math, if you take 3 jobs and let's say they were all supposed to be $15,000, and you go, I'll give each of them $1,000 off. I want you to go find the next $15,000 job and say, now I got to charge 18,000 or 20 to make up for the ones I just discounted. It gets extremely hard to ever catch back up. You never catch up is what I've found. It's why the Lord, yes. Yeah. And yes, Mita, and there's more than enough people out there, you know? And follow me for a minute and just listen to this absurdity. Yeah, the backward hamster wheel, exactly. I think this makes sense. If you've ever been with a homeowner that wants to start like discounting, sometimes I'll play a game and I'll be, well, how much should we discount? Are you sure that's enough? I mean, if I only take 5,000 off, I mean, there's probably more. What else can we discount? How can we get the materials cheaper? Do you want to start stealing them off of other job sites? Why don't you run around the neighborhood and see if you can get something? Will your neighbors donate to you? Why don't you start up a collection bin? Like you can start playing the discount game with them and just throw out more ideas. How can we get it cheaper? And they'll start to see the ridiculousness of it. If you ever play that exercise, like this is for jobs. If you ever get on an appointment where you just messed it up, you didn't weed it out properly, you can play that game and you'll be shocked. Like at the end of the day, the homeowner doesn't want it. They don't want it that cheap. And they'll start backing it up the other way and trying to say, no, 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 I don't want that, you know? So it gets the whole discount world, it gets very interesting. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, 28. It does. But there's Goat, you made it. Hey, Goat, tell us, did you have that appointment today with the kitchen company? Did you message me? I didn't see anything. So, Hawk, welcome. Anybody have anything on your mind? Anything you want? Anything that's got you frustrated about the business? About like your own personal skill set? Mine, I've done a lot of training over the years myself on just like business skills, personal skills, learning how to communicate. That was not an area I was strong in. Some of you guys might be better at those things and need less of that. Everybody starts at a different place. So if anybody has any questions about anything, we can attempt to tackle it. It's no one person has it all figured out. I can guarantee you that. Fair and reasonable. Bill, you need to put that on your t-shirt when you meet with homeowners. Such an arbitrary statement. Yeah, there is no fair and reasonable. It is what it is. That's the pricing. This is what I need to charge for it to work for me and for you. So that, yeah. Goat, you're back. There you are. You got to tell us how or if you don't have to. I'm just asking. I want to hear from you how your appointment went, if you ended up having it today with the cabinet place. Yeah, yeah. Good to see you. Awesome, brother. Hey, high five to you. Fantastic. You have a lot of good things happening, and it's okay. Yeah, so this guy was down to earth, very cool. Yeah, Bill, go share with us if you don't mind what all the this cabinet my understanding was he's a distributor, right? He's a big player in the Las Vegas area. He sells a lot of cabinetry, and I don't, you know, I, if you're open to it, let us know what his thought was. Why was he wanting to meet with you? Because he reached out to you. That's awesome. Glad you talked to him about your idea. You know what's funny, Meathead? I just talked to the owners of Lillian Cabinets. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them. I'm going to do a podcast with them. Maybe I should be cautious to say all this stuff because we haven't finalized it, but most likely we're going to do another video share. They offer RTA cabinets across the country, and their business is exploding. They provide a really nice product, and they have homeowners across the country that are buying these cabinets left and right. They're good quality. It's all a wood constructed cabinet. Yes. So look, it does have to be assembled on site. So yes, we're talking a lower end kitchen remodel, but it's a huge market. Um, so yeah, dish the tea. All right. Well, go. Yeah. As long as hey, you let us know, you'd be a good fit with them. Perfect. That's awesome. All right. But so, I mean, look, some of you guys, everybody has their lane in the remodeling space, right? Some guys are going to focus on semi custom, 100% custom cabinetry, right? You would never even dream of getting an RTA. But the reason I talk with a company like Lillian is if you're starting out and you're trying to sell your first couple kitchens, you just have to get some kitchens on the books, right? And if it's going to be an RTA cabinet that you're assembling on site, that's what it's going to be. You have to do something to start building your book of business. You have to get a couple before and afters. Everybody starts somewhere. My first couple kitchens weren't anything fancy. Um, but once you get a couple in, then you can start moving up the chain. Now, some people can sell right at the high level from day one and have at it. You're going to work with a local cabinet maker in your area. You're going to have a good relationship with a local designer. But if you're brand new to the industry and just starting out, something like a Lillian can be a good option for you. Yeah, there's exactly, Bill. There's clients for everybody. And we all have to recognize that I or them or he or she, nobody's better per se than anyone else. We're just at different levels on the journey. That's all. Some of us are doing like $300,000 kitchen remodels. Some of us are hoping to land a $30,000 kitchen remodel, right? As our skills increase, so do usually the sizes of our jobs. And we all have to start somewhere. Sean. Hey, Sean, welcome. Tell me where you're from. Hey, Jay Allen, good to see you too. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If you have basic skills in far as communicating and sales ability, look, guys, I worked with a local contractor and we got them signed up with 16 big box stores, right? They were the install contractor for 16 big box stores. We made millions and we made a lot of profit on a lot of jobs that were in the $35,000 to $65,000 range. All right. In the Home Depot and those big box stores, there's a big market for what's called pull and replace. You're not really moving any of the mechanicals. You're just taking the 20-year-old cabinet out and putting in a new one. And if you're efficient and have a system in place, you can make really good money doing these projects. Now, they're not nothing glamorous. You're not going to get any awards, winning the best designed kitchen, but you have a very nice, profitable way of getting up every day and going in and pulling out some cabinets and putting some new ones in. So there's definitely what I'm trying to say is there's a market for people at all levels. Yeah, a lot of times, I mean, and that's the thing. When you're under 100,000, and again, this is market dependent. Some people they're very happy with a pull and replace. That's a big accomplishment for some homeowners just to get new cabinets, counters, and appliances, usually in flooring and paint, right? Now, when you start getting into the couple $100,000 projects, yeah, these folks are going to want to move walls, right? They're going to change all the mechanicals. You're putting in pot fillers, and now we're putting in a prep sink over on the far wall, right? And a second oven, maybe even a second dishwasher. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It might not be fancy to us, it could be but it's fancy to them. So, there's always, you know, there's always a market out there. So, but anyway, back to this Lily Ann thing. Fundamentals can be learned during the smaller projects. Build your systems. Yes. Ex- yeah, Bill, excellent point. Um, the biggest thing that I found worked for us was the first few kitchens I did took me a long time. And I thought I was efficient, right? But we weren't planning ahead enough. And when you really start planning ahead, you start recognizing, man, we can really knock these things out a lot faster when we get organized. And that's where economies of scale start coming into place. And that's where real profit starts to show up. When you stop dicking around on the job site all the time and you really start getting in, getting out, knocking these jobs out really quickly and efficiently. And you don't know that until you start pushing yourself. Hey, contractor Damon, good to see you. It's been a little while. Welcome back. Yeah, time is money. Efficiency equals profit. Yes, Bill. Thank you. 100%. If I'm Bill, like if Bill and I are both bidding the job and Bill's crew knows how to do the job in 6 weeks, but it's going to take me 10 or 12, Bill's price is probably a lot more profitable because he's getting it done a hell of a lot faster than I am. Um, so that's something that homeowners don't necessarily even understand. But you can often be very competitive on price, but be making a whole lot more profit, or your price is higher and your profit's astronomical because you're just that much more efficient. And for some guys, this is where I would caution as you get better at your skills, you might want to raise your margins because you shouldn't be penalized just because you can get a job done faster doesn't mean that you shouldn't make more money for it. You should be getting rewarded just as much. So you have to sometimes look at some different angles when you're pricing up things. I'm doing better. Contract, yeah, things are going really good. Contract, glad to hear that you're doing better. So we've, we got a lot of guys doing really well this year, having a lot of success. It's been exciting these last few months to watch a lot of this happen. If you follow, and I know it's hard to get into all the lives, but you'll start seeing some people that get back in here and there. Like there's a lot of success that's happening. So I might have missed a couple comments. Very good. That's good, contract. Yeah. Sometimes, you know what I find too? I don't know if I played sports when I was younger, and I find that a lot of it was very helpful for me in business. And here's where I'm going with it. When you're around other people and it's in a competitive environment, you'll start feeding off of their energy, right? If another guy is contributing and working harder and you start seeing them do well, you're like, damn, maybe I should try a little bit more. I probably could accomplish more. The same is true in our business. When you get around other business owners and you start seeing guys really doing well and like taking chances, stepping outside of their comfort zone, learning a new skill, trying to tackle a different niche or industry or hire another person or raise their prices, and then you start seeing it work. It, to me, it's contagious, and it starts when I can see someone else doing it, it starts making me go, yeah, I could do that. Okay. Because possibly some of us have a block in our mind where we're like, I can't do that. That's not going to work for me. But the minute you start seeing somebody else do it, you're like, well, wait a minute. If he's doing it, why can't I do it as well? Yeah, let me see. Bill, I haven't seen the AI rendering. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me that somebody wouldn't fake the system to get paid. That's very interesting. I haven't seen that. I'll have to look for that. But yeah. Dragon, this is the wrong account for you, brother. Thanks for popping in here, but you're gonna want to find something else. Yeah. Very very interesting. Yeah, that makes sense to me, Bill, that people are gonna game the system 100%, right? There's always people that will spend more time and energy to not do the thing sometimes than well, I guess with AI, maybe it's a little less time, but they could be utilizing that for something more positive, right? And the first thing they think is, how can I cheat the system? Yeah, another reason for a dedicated project manager. See, another strength when you go out and meet with a homeowner to why they should work with your company as opposed to the competition. Yeah. It's going to be a challenge for people. I mean, you guys probably see it. I have been watching less social media because it's getting harder to tell what is real and what isn't at the moment. So I find myself, if I do catch a video, I almost like, I don't even want to watch this right now because I'm not even sure if it's real or it's fake. Am I being duped? Yeah, a degree. And contractor Damon, I think many of us can have that honorary degree as well. Um, so I mean, the nature of this industry, especially if you're a GC, right? You most guys work for somebody for a couple years. Then once you go out and start your own thing, it's like you're on an island. It's not like you show up in an office where you're meeting with other GCs for a couple hours every day and you guys are talking about the problems and this customer's doing that and this and who's your electrician that you're using. Most GCs, at least from the last several years, really like isolate themselves. And there's no sharing of resources. At the end of the day, I'm a firm believer that the cream always rises to the top. So whether I'm on here sharing with you guys or not, the people that do well are always going to do well. And the people that struggle most likely will continue to struggle until they do something different. I'm not threatened. I would share this with you guys. Don't feel threatened by the competition because at the end of the day, most people aren't going to do the work anyway. And the knowledge only gets you so far. You have to go put it into practice. Yeah, what contractor Damon? Sure, when you got it is, right? you I remember the day of sitting there thinking, I can't wait to start my own business. I'm going to be making all kinds of money. I got customers going to be lined up down the street wanting to hire me. And it's like the exact opposite. You go start your business and you're like trying to chase people down. It's a struggle to earn the money that you want to earn. It's like one new challenge after another. Those first few days, those first few years, it's a huge learning curve. Most people wouldn't even start in the industry if they knew how challenging the first couple years can be. Yeah. The good news is, I mean, you can get through it. Some guys get very fortunate and get in touch with a mentor much earlier than others. Some guys got exposed. Some people work for a really good contractor and they learn a lot of good lessons. And some people the opposite, right? You could work for a really bad contractor and learn a lot of lessons that way too. So it's always fascinating. At the same time, though, I do find a lot of value. I appreciate you guys commenting and sharing. I think there's a lot of to be gained from that for anybody, right? And you can start, you can check out different guys' websites and see if they're putting out some videos. You can start seeing their personalities and learning to see the little things that they do that make their business succeed. Because we all have our own approach, right? The way one of us does it doesn't mean that nobody's going to be an exact carbon copy of the other guy. We'll learn things from them that we can implement, but at the end of the day, you're going to be your personality and do things the way that work best for you. You're going to have a huge party, and you're going to have half of the TikTok contractors showing up at your house. I can already see it. We're all going to come. Maybe we should have like a big meeting out in Vegas. Like a little mastermind where we all get together for a day. Yeah, exactly. Well, doesn't your other half, she does something with one of the casinos, right? You guys could probably set something up for us. Lake Havasu is real nice. Yes, Bill. Absolutely. Mm. So, what are you guys finding? Yeah, so the Piazzo, nice. You could probably get us all like a VIP status for a couple hours. Italian, nice. Very good. All right, contractor Damon, you started using some estimating software. That's good. Do you mind sharing which software you went with? I Some guys are using, I think House Call Pro. Some guys are using Jobber. The gondolas. All right, goat. Nice. Yeah, stuff happens. Goat, no worries. That's all right. We'll let you back in. You're good. Bill, did I ask you what you're using for? I think you said you use a spreadsheet. I think we talked about that. All right. Yeah, I guess not. Yeah, Bill, it's interesting. I've been using some of the new there's that handoff AI, there's Simple Wise. I've been playing around with some of the AI. There's some things I really like about them. Yeah, you built your own in Excel spreadsheets. That's right. So I contract competition contract. All right. So I mean, I can see. I do see a place for having um, some things automated when it comes to estimating, like especially once you got a cheat sheet. Perfect. Go. Yeah. Once you enter in the client data one time, it needs to be auto populated throughout. Yep. Yeah, I mean, go for what you're for the services you're working with. A cheat sheet can be very helpful. You just pull it out and you know what to price it, and you move on. You don't have to make it super complicated, right? That way you can land a few more projects every day for sure. Yeah, yeah. The Yeah, Bill, I would agree. I think that, I've learned over the years that so many of us we see the world differently, and the way that we come up with our estimates is much different, right? Some guys love line item details. Some guys like to just generalize and put things in buckets. You know, as long as you're putting in the right numbers and you know the proper math to get the end result, anything can work for sure. Um, I'm definitely curious how some of these like handoff AI. I've been enjoying using that. I've taken a bunch of my old estimates and I've gone back in and ran it as if I didn't have the job already done to see what it would say. And obviously, um, at the end of the day, it's pretty good. Yeah, as long as you're profitable. And I got a receptionist. All right, contractor Damon, you're not playing around. Good for you. So you got somebody in the office now that can help. Yeah, this is good. Th- Hopefully you've transitioned to where all contact goes to that receptionist so that you can focus more, you know, on landing the next job, getting the jobs done. Nice. I've shared this with some of you before. Like my ex, when she came into my business, she ran the office. It was the best thing that ever happened for me. She's very personable, has a friendly voice. People loved talking to her so much so that most of them would just contact. Her name was Holly. They'd just call Holly and be like, I didn't even have to be in part of the conversation anymore. She'd be like, "I'll let Mike know," and it was great. It freed up a ton of my time and energy. So for those of you that the gift of gab might not be where you want to be every day, having somebody in the office who customers just love to talk to, it'll definitely change things for you. Most of the time, you'll find too that most homeowners, they don't have to have the answer. They just like knowing that they've talked to somebody and that people are aware of what their concerns are or know what their question is. When I first got started, I often felt like I couldn't call a homeowner back till I had a definitive answer. And that put me into a lot of headaches and got me into a lot of problems and made matters a lot worse. Somebody taught me, Mike, you just have to call them back and say, "Hey, I appreciate you calling. Yeah, that thing that happened, that's unfortunate. That's not what we would like. I'm not certain how it's going to work out at the moment, but we're putting together a plan. I'll be back in touch with you shortly to let you know." Right? They just want to know that you're aware of it and on it. Has been my experience. Whereas if you ignore the homeowners when they call, that just gets them more pissed off. DJP Ability Contracting. Cool. Yep. Go. Yeah. Flat fees help. Who else? We have Charlie. We have Ashley. You guys, I really a lot of good questions, a lot of comments. Thank you. Appreciate everything. Uh Anybody have anything they want to share? Anybody got any like so for me tomorrow I'm on the road. I'm heading up with my girlfriend. We're going to go visit her family for a couple of days, so we'll be driving. Anybody got any night? Are you guys staying local? You traveling for the holidays? What's happening? Anybody taking a vacation? You guys working? Goat, you sent the last clip. Awesome. All right, so we'll have to find a time to we'll go through it. That's great. Thank you for doing that. Okay. Chilling. Nice. Yep. Jay Allen staying local. Very good. Jay Allen, did you see the other gentleman in here from the Texas? I might have. You probably saw it. I didn't. I should have referenced it. Sean, where are you from? I see you. Welcome to the chat, Sean. I don't know if you've been in here before or not. Staying local, not today. Somebody I thought in here, Jay Allen, mentioned Texas, but so many comments were flying fast. I might have missed it. Yeah, maybe that wasn't tonight, Jayon. Oh, damn it. Yes, Bill, thank you. Charlie Crowder. Is Charlie Okay, Charlie jumped out. That's what happened. Yes, thank you, Bill. Good memory there. Okay, Sean, upstate New York. Awesome. Thank you for commenting. Let us know. Hey, appreciate if you'd let it if you're a contractor or GC, let us know your specialty. And welcome. Yeah. Yeah, contractor Damon. Bill's asking if you use if more employees or subcontractors. Okay, Sean, welcome. So you do baths and kitchens. All right, 85% bathrooms, 15. Okay, Justin, welcome. Level 5. Justin, if let us Alan Mason, let us know where you're from, what part of the country. And then Sean, how many give me an approximation how many years you've had your business. Just your father? Okay. 7. Oh, awesome. All right. So yeah, you're right at that. That's the phase where everybody gets divorced. You know that, right? 7-year itch. All right. So now you're ready to make a shift in the business. Perfect. Yeah, probably a smart move. I think yeah, 7 years is no joke. So like 70% of contractors will probably fail before they hit 7 years. So congratulations to you for making it past. You're in the top 30%. That's awesome. Southern California. All right, Austin. You got so Bill, he's down in San Diego. Very good. Sean, are you guys you just started doing helical pile installs. Oh, nice. Sean, I think that was a smart move that you made, niching down, like focusing on kitchens and bath. Once you get your marketing dialed in, you should be much more profitable. Plus, it gets a lot simpler to manage when you're doing the same projects over and over again. So I think that's a smart if your goal is to try to scale and bring in some more revenue, I think that was a smart move because in theory, you'll get better, more efficient, right? And you'll just be able to turn the jobs over quicker and become more profitable. So, yeah, so you guys are on the right thought process. Congratulations. That's a smart move. Yeah, and as always, once you land a kitchen and bath project, it doesn't mean that you can't do other work for those homeowners. But it's simpler when your marketing efforts are tied into a specific niche, right? And that's what clients tend to know you for. It's definitely by Justin Allen. Welcome. Your profile looks new, so welcome as well, brother. And thank you for commenting. Saying, all right. Hey, Bill, if you don't mind, share with us what's the average, what do you think the value of the average house that you're probably working on? If you're on Oceanside, are they in the, I mean, is that 3 million, 7 million? I don't even know. Like what's a is there an average or is it all over the place? Like for instance, 1 million? Okay. So like in my area, um, we tend to try to find 500,000 to like 1.2 million tends to be where a lot of the houses would fall. Obviously. So, and in my area, like a five, and I'm sure this happens to other people. You can $600,000 might only be a 1970s brick rancher that's barely 1,200 square feet. Depending on the neighborhood. So, Newport Beach, bougie, go right. Uh, yeah, he's contractor Damon. He's in Oceans. He was saying Oceanside, California. All right, yeah, and just so some of you guys notice that the at times the comments will get a little jacked up. TikTok is very restrictive of your all's comments. I don't know why, but certain words TikTok doesn't like. So sometimes you'll put a comment in and it shadow bans it or whatever. Like it hides it, and then I have to wait and get a notification, and then I can release it. Um, so sometimes that's messing up the feed, the flow of the comments, because something you said TikTok doesn't like, so it's banning it. And it's all random. You never know what it is. All right, Jay Allen, thank you for that. So Sean, it if we go back to Sean, so it's you and your father. Sean, give us an idea. Did you give us an idea of your sales volume? I know you said 7 years, kitchens and bath, 85% bathrooms. I mean, are you guys at 500,000? Are you where are you at with your sales volume? Help me understand that for a minute. And Jay Allen, thank you for catching that. Okay. So Sean, would you and your father, it's private, are you two doing all the work? And then I'm assuming you sub some of the trade out. Is that kind of how it's working for you guys? Yeah. So, yes. All right. So the way I see it, you and your dad have created jobs for yourselves, right? So when the homeowner hires you, you come out, you're doing the demo. You're running all the tarps and setting up the zip walls and putting the ram board down to protect the hardwood floors, right? You're doing the framing, you're painting, you're doing the sheetrock. All right. Hey, better to have, that's awesome, Sean. Congratulations. So, Sean, at some point, you have to recognize this is true for all of us. I can only sit here and really do one thing well at any given time, right? And heck, I'm even having trouble keeping up with all the comments. So that just shows you, like, what I'm trying to say is none of us can, as far as I know, really be in two places at the same time very well. I can have two things going on, but I'm probably not doing either of them really well. So where I'm going with this is if you're the guy who owns the business, you run the business, you're the one who's selling all the business, and you're the one who's performing all the work. The reason you're going to stay where you're at is because you physically are at your max capability. There's only so many hours in the day. Okay. So at some point, you have to ask yourself if you would like to grow, you're going to have to start giving some things up. and somebody else has to take over some tasks for you. And first, I would write a list of what you like to do, what you don't like to do. In my opinion, the best way to grow the business, and you'll hear me say this a lot, you have to stop swinging the hammer and you have to start swinging the business. It's your business, you own it, you're in charge of it. So, most likely, that's going to mean that you're going to have to probably find someone to come in and do a lot of the work to help your dad out. It's not going to be you and your dad, it's going to be the new guy and your dad. Um, or you could look at hiring a part-time salesperson that can just you and your dad keep doing the work, and the other person goes out and sells it for you. That model doesn't seem to work well for people. Okay, in my experience. Okay, thank you, Bill. Yeah, in my experience, Sean, and I'm look. Hear me when I say this. I'm not saying that's what you probably got into the business because you like doing the work and you have pride in your work. You're good at doing the work. The homeowners love you. You take a lot of attention and detail. You have all the skills. You've bought all these nice tools. But if you want to grow it to a business to where you're not self-employed, you have to have somebody else doing some things. So for me, the first two people I hired was somebody had to answer my phones. So whether you bring someone in part-time to help, you get an answering service. You need to have somebody start helping you with your books. So you find a bookkeeper. These can all be part-time people, but this is all part of your scaling process. And then I would find you have to find you, Sean. And what I mean is for out in the field, somebody who has all of your skill set for swinging the hammer, you're going to put them out in the field. That's going to free you up to go land some more projects. And then the next challenge is going to be whether it's bringing on some employees or finding some subs. Yeah, good question. Yeah, Bill, that's a real good question. Ask. Tate, yeah. Who wants to do the sanding of the sheetrock? Not many guys, right? Yeah. So Sean, I've been through a divorce. I can appreciate the strain. That sucks. It can be very challenging while you're trying to get through it for sure. Um, Most likely, once you put that behind you, you'll have more time and energy to really bear down and focus. Yeah. The goat's gonna have all the contractors living in Vegas with him. So, uh, yeah. Sean, what's your goal for the company? What do you want to accomplish in the next year? That's awesome, goat. God, let me yeah, okay. All right, Sean, very good. So, from my experience, Sean, if you're going to be the owner of the business and you're going to be doing the sales and the estimating, you'll you should easily over time get up to like a 1.5 million sales volume if that's your goal. You'll It's going to require having some people under you, obviously somebody at the office, and probably you might want to pursue subcontractors. Yeah. If you stick to kitchens and baths, I think you'll be very easily able to set up a couple good crews that are your installers, and you just sub out the job soup to nuts, right? And they just come in, they do the demo, they put the work in. I mean, obviously you're probably going to have a specialist for the tile, you're probably going to have a specialist for the mechanicals, but yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Sean, you might want to take a talk with Bill a little bit. He can share his side. Um, Sean, my background, I liked the lead carpenter model where I had one highly skilled carpenter as my project manager, and he also would have tools on the job. So there's more than one way to do it. I think the subcontractor method is a little bit superior from a operational standpoint because it puts you at the least amount of risk. You don't have that burden of having employees. So I think, it's, but everybody, at the end of the day, either model can work. Yeah. Eh, I think what Bill would probably tell you is you're going to, Sean, if you can land the jobs and you can set up a good model, you're going to be able to attract good subs and build a relationship with them over time. And I would say that your results, the quality of work can be the same. I don't think that having an employee or a sub do the work means that one's going to be any better or worse. It's just going to be different how you go about it. Yeah. Yeah. Building systems, hiring quality subs. Eh, I enjoyed having a couple lead carpenters work for me as employees. But if I was to start all over, I might go the sub route first to be transparent. But if so, but yeah, Sean, you'll be able to set up a foundational process where you'll have them apply, they'll fill out an application, you'll do a whole subcontractor agreement with them. You'll give them lots of parameters, things that are important to you about how your company does stuff. Yeah, I mean, if you have right now, if you have 5 bathrooms lined up, part of me would say you should look for a sub now. And maybe you go into it with the mindset like, let me try the sub out. And if maybe you bring them on as to your team, or maybe you just keep them as a sub part of your team. But the only way you're going to grow is to try it. I know that's not the easiest. thing to hear, but like you have to get over that fear. Like you just have to do it. You're like this is part of my growth process. I am going to sub out one of these jobs and I'm going to learn and I'm going to find. Here's the thing. Don't go into it saying it has to go perfect. Go into it saying what's awesome about me subbing this job out is I'm going to learn all the crap that I don't know about subbing out a job. I'm going to make mistakes. We're going to have problems, but I'm going to get through it. And it's going to teach me all the things that I don't know so that on the future ones, I start now knowing, right? It's the only way to do it. Yeah, exactly. You didn't, when you got started, you didn't know everything you needed to know. You figured it out as you went, feet first. Yeah. So you'll get through it. And I, I would say you're probably smart enough to know that it's not going to be an absolute dumpster fire. Yeah, you're going to make some mistakes, but I'm sure it's nothing that you can't recover from. And it's probably nothing that the homeowner is really going to be like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing, right? They're going to be common everyday things that happen. So it's not going to be a big deal at the end of the day. Okay. So, Sean, I'm just seeing the comment that you've done some house flips. Nice. Okay. So you understand the whole process. That's good. Exactly. Yeah, Jalen. Nobody's perfect all the time. It's all about, you just want to win a little more than you lose, and for sure. So you'll do awesome, Sean. You'll have to let us know how it goes when you check back in a little while. Sean, if you haven't already, since you're a kitchen and bath guy, I hope you have some vendor accounts already. Like you've gone and set up trade accounts with like the plumbing supply houses in your area and some. Where I'm going with all this is these are going to be people that you can go to potentially find people that you're going to want to hire, right? You can talk to your rep at the plumbing supply house. Hey, who's some kitchen and bath guys that I could potentially talk to help me get some work done that I might be able to sub to, right? You're going to want to network in your local area, and it could be a good way to find that sub that you need. Okay, so yeah, if you're already set up with them, hey there, Mikey M, welcome. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, who no, absolutely. Who pays their bills? Who's pleasant to work with? Who doesn't come in and act like an ass and who's, you know what I mean? Who's respectful? Who's organized? Yeah, all those things. Exactly. Excellent advice, Bill. And then Sean, you're going to want all of them to apply. When you tell them you're interested in working with them, you're going to have an application process that they have to go through. Okay. And that's also going to show you who's competent and who's not. So it'll all work out. Goat. All right, Mikey, homeowner right, current job. Nitpicking pricing on required change. Uh, Sean, if you reach out to me, I can help you get set up. I can share with you about the application process. So, I've got a video where I've done a bunch of I walk people through the application process that you should put in place. So, yeah. Yeah, and Mikey, I've seen a couple of your comments. I'm not following them 100%, so please forgive me. All right, so Mikey, help me understand. Looking to price out on their own. Yeah, thanks for being here, Sean. Good luck to you. Hope to see you back some other time. So, if you follow the account, you'll get a notification when I go live. I do these most days. So, thanks for contributing. Appreciate your commenting. Yeah. Mikey, that's a tough one. Wh- what is Yeah, we'd have to talk about what your pre-construction process and what your agreements, like your initial conversations are with your homeowners. Like, and what I'm saying is sometimes change orders can really sting the homeowner when it hasn't been pre-framed properly well before a change order ever comes up, if at all, if they come up. We bid the project on plans. Plans were not up to insulation code. Now we have to spray foam. Yeah. And Mikey, is the problem? Do you think the problem is you're marking up the spray foam and the homeowner thinks they can get it cheaper if they hired it directly? That sucks. Yeah. Yeah. What is Mikey? Does your contract state that the work has to go through you at that point or not? I mean, Mikey, I have a couple thoughts for you. Not, I mean, I appreciate you what you share. For the way I understand it is, you didn't make the mistake. The play whoever had the plans drawn, they were wrong. Somehow it got approved with the county that you're in because you got a permit, you started doing the work. Then the inspector comes out and then doesn't like it. So now they want to change to the scope, which requires you to submit a change order to the homeowner. The homeowner's not happy with the price at all, which a lot of no homeowners usually happy. Um, and now they want to go around you and do it themselves. If your contract doesn't have specific language that kind of steers it back your direction, part of me says you just let the homeowner know that the situation has to be rectified and you just have to make it work with them, you know? I mean, I wouldn't end up in a huge, in my opinion, it might not be worth fighting the homeowner over it. You've and what I'm saying is, unfortunately, things kind of went sideways really fast, right? I think you have to be very clear with the homeowner that if they're going to do their own thing, they have to do everything on their own. They're managing it, they're supervising it, they're responsible for it. Yeah, I don't know. Some people would say talk with an attorney, have your contract reviewed. I mean, it can get sticky depending on where you're located. And yeah, I mean, so Mike, I want to be cautious in how I say this because I feel like the situation you're in sucks. W- Does the homeowner, do you feel like you've lost a little control of the job? Does the homeowner not trust you in general? I mean, does the homeowner know a friend who's in the insulation business? And did the price, like, what do you think caused them to go to this place where all of a sudden they're calling and trying to get it all done on their own? I mean, is it just a bad homeowner all around? You know? Yeah, that's a good idea, Bill. Exactly. Yeah, you're not taking your profit off of it. Yeah, I mean, Bill, I think what Bill might be leaning towards, Mikey, is that, look, at the end of the day, maybe you don't get to mark up this particular part of the change order, this insulation sub. I don't know. but you should still be able to have marked up the other insulation sub that you were going to hire who now you're not hiring. And so, like, yeah, you might have a net negative on the actual cost, right? But if you can help satisfy the homeowner and end the frustration and the distrust and the miscommunication, and I mean, you're so early in the project, you kind of want to bring this project, you got to, I feel like the relationship's got to be rebuilt a little bit with the homeowner. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. Maybe everything's fine. But it sounds to me like I would just want to try to settle this with the homeowner. Yeah, if they're gonna, yeah, absolutely, Mikey. If they're wanting to go around your agreement, say, guys, like, uh, you know, the whole point of hiring me was I was supposed to be overseeing. I'd take on the liability, the responsibility. So the whole, you're changing the whole dynamic of the scope of the plan. So, uh, and Mikey, hopefully going forward, you'll have a good change order section. Now, Bill only uses a one-page agreement, so he works really well with his verbal communication. I think you'll have a little bit of verbiage, but change orders can be tricky. But I've never had this happen though. Yeah. No, Bill, that's a good point. I think, Mikey, I think the goal is you shouldn't be losing money on the deal. You may not make markup on this particular change, which it is what it is, but you should still have enough profit built into the rest of the job that we want the rest of the project to go smooth. So, and I think with a good sit down, you and the homeowner sit down and talk it through. I think you could get everybody to where everybody's happy. You're moving forward. You're solving the problem. And you could, I think you could position it to where you say, are you guys going to be managing this part of the project now? So you want me to take a vacation for a week and you'll just call me back when it's all taken care of? And then are you going to call the inspector to get it inspected? And, yeah. Yep. Yeah, Mikey, I don't know what, like, in my state, if a homeowner hires me as a licensed contractor, everything has to go through arbitration. It usually goes through my home improvement commission first, and they just want the two parties to work it out. They don't even want it going anywhere. Yeah. Yeah, maybe it just didn't get verbalized properly. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. Do you feel like you could sit down and talk to them and just kind of work it through now? Was the homeowner maxed out when they hired you, by the way? Was like, yeah, good question, Bill. I mean, was like 140, like, is it outside their comfort zone? Is that why this 3,500's become such a big deal? I mean, some of it, sometimes we don't know the fear that the homeowners is experiencing in the moment. And then that can cause sometimes, like, what we might say is like some irrational behavior where they're trying to, like, take the reins back and jump in and run the ship. All right. Well, Mikey, you'll have to jump back in and let us know at some point how it works out. Be curious to hear what you end up, what steps you take. I think you'll work it out just fine. 140K plus. They purchase cabinets 50K. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Mikey, I'd be tempted to just sit down and talk to them and ask them, hey, what share their side of the story. Say, hey, how come you guys decided to take all this over? I don't know. And just work it through with them. Let them know that you're there. At the end of the day, my approach has always been that my goal is to be the advocate for the homeowner. I'm on the homeowner's side. The problem is the project that has to get completed, and I want to work with the homeowner to solve the problem. Where you're at right now is, I feel like what's happened is the homeowner's looking at you and the problem as if putting you in between, like you're part of the problem with the problem. And what I'm trying to say is, you want to get back to where you and the homeowner are sitting on the same side of the table and you're both looking at the problem and you're talking to each other about how we're going to solve the problem by working together, as opposed to what's happened right now where it's like you against the homeowner and the problem. Yeah, exactly. Just have a be willing to sit down, hear the homeowner out, ask them a bunch of questions. What is their understanding? What is it that they're frustrated by? What are they hoping to accomplish? What is their goal? All these little questions. And I think you can get right back to where you and the homeowner are back on the same page again. So that would be my thought process for you. All right. Well, you guys have been awesome. We've had a lot of interaction tonight. Thank you so much. Yeah, Mikey, it's going to work out, Mikey. You're going to get through it. No big deal. It's just frustrating in the moment for sure. So, yeah. But Bill, thank you. Goat, thank you. Contractor Damon, I appreciate you being here, commenting. Jay Allen, as always, thank you. Appreciate you contributing. 28 JJW, thank you. And Sean, if you're still here, thank you. Bye, Justin Allen, thank you. Hopefully I'll get to learn a little more about your business maybe on the next one. And the rest of you, so yeah, you're very welcome. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, for each of you that was, I appreciate you guys like sharing some stuff that's happening in the business. Look, at the end of the day, nobody's here judging it. Like, we all have problems, believe me. It's not you know what I mean? So just the goal is to try to help you get through it. It sucks when somebody's going through something frustrating like that. So, all right, you guys all have a good one. Thanks again. We'll see you on the next one.